y'all, it's Tasha. We are back another week, another episode of Married at First Sight. Y'all know the drill. If you haven't already, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below. Like, comment, share. I want this to be an interactive conversation. We got to talk about these couples. All right, so episode 2, Hello Stranger. First, no 3-hour episode this week. Thank you, baby Jesus, because that was team too much last week with a whole 3-hour episode. So we were back to 2 hours. Last week, I wish they would have just shown us at least 2 out of the 5 weddings last week, and then we could have wrapped up the last 3 this episode and moved on to honeymoons next week. But I digress, because this is Married at First Sight, and y'all know how they do. Give us long episodes, and in the beginning, always give us this fluff and pomps and circumstance that we have already seen the previous week, but they must take up the first 5 to 10 minutes of our viewing time recapping what the hell we just saw last week. Can y'all stop that? Please stop. Anywho, we're gonna jump right into the episode. Actually, wasn't a ton going on, just a few weddings and wasn't a whole lot of action, but let's run through and talk about it and see how it goes. So the episode starts off, of course, where it left off last week with Clara and Ryan at the altar with their blindfolds on. They have not seen each other yet. So they have their bridesmaid and best man come up to remove the blindfold at the exact same time so that they can see each other. They both seem to like what they see, so no issues there. All right, we hear them say their vows to each other, and Ryan's vows go a little bit deep. I mean, just like kind of the letter he gave to her before they actually got down the aisle, and then what he has to say now. We can tell this guy has a way with words. So his vows were very deep. I like them, but on the other hand, I was like, this is, you know, pretty deep and a lot to say to someone that you don't know. I mean, you don't know her, and what he had to say just seemed more appropriate for someone that he had known longer, and they were going into this having courted and dated a very long time. But just my opinion, but that's how I felt about it. They actually end up kissing when they are introduced as husband and wife. Of course, with all the couples, how they do, as soon as they walk out the door, they get a little bit of alone time so they can talk to each other without their family and friends being present for a bit. So they do that and get to know each other over some champagne. He did ask her what her biggest fear was throughout this whole experiment that they're doing. And she says that she would fall in love with him and he won't love her back. Red flag. And that's a red flag for us, of course, as viewers, because we know that Ryan has shared that he's never said I love you to anyone, because those words he take, you know, very seriously. So I think she may fall in love first and she may say it, but I don't think he's going to be ready to say it. Definitely not, in my opinion, within these 8 weeks. If he says he's never said it and it's taken him so long to get to a point maybe where he will say it, I don't foresee it all of a sudden now it being, oh, after 6 weeks, I love you so much, but I've never told anybody that. So we'll see how that works out for them. But Clara is just like, oh my gosh, she's just gushing over him, which, I mean, she already said the other week she wanted somebody kind of ethnically ambiguous, so she was happy to see that he was, you know, this biracial swirly situation going on with him. Eye roll. But she was already saying, literally like 15 minutes after they knew each other, that she thinks she could see herself falling in love with him. And I'm like, all right. Here we go, already jumping the gun. Next couple we see is Virginia and Eric. If y'all don't remember who they are, insert a little picture right over here. But it is Party Girl and Pilot Guy. So we see Virginia. We remember that, you know, at the bachelor party, bachelorette party, she got a little wasted, started throwing up. Obviously, that wasn't enough for her, because the first clip we get to with her and her bridesmaids, we're doing shots. We are doing shots and we're drinking again. So I'm like, ma'am, you don't think at this point you should maybe slow down? You're about to get married. I know you're a ball of nerves, but I would think the last thing you would want to do is, you know, your stomach be upset and you be about to throw up as you are meeting your groom at the end of the aisle. Maybe it's just me, but I was like, can you just put the alcohol down, homegirl? Just put it down, okay? But no. So they both seem to be basically a ball of nerves. He's sweating. He says his heart is pounding. She's shaking. And again, because of the nerves, she just keeps drinking. And I think even one of her bridesmaids was like, maybe we should get something to eat. And she's like, no, just give me the champagne. Just give me the wine. Just let me drink so that can ease her nerves. And I'm like, this could be a recipe for a disaster if you keep drinking like this. So we see Eric's parents does show up to support him. Mom looks a little bit more relaxed today than she did on the day that she actually told him. And his dad, actually, we see him for the first time. But his mom does give him some really good words of advice to, you know, get him through and hopefully make this a successful marriage like her and his dad. We see Virginia's father actually ends up showing up. If y'all remember, he was on FaceTime. He was like, so this will be on TV, right? As if that would be enough and he did not need to show up or he didn't want to show up. So we see him and her stepmom actually shows up, who we did see when she was picking her dress. And then we actually see her mom show up as well, which we hadn't seen before. And, you know, her mama comes in with a little razzle-dazzle in her hair. I was like, okay, mama, okay. That was funny. But I end up, after Virginia kind of got herself together, I was like, oh, what happened to the fashion team? Like, I didn't like the dress. I didn't like her hair. I didn't like her makeup. It just needed to all just be a do-over. But if she like it, I love it, okay? So we see her before she actually is like at the door waiting to go in. She starts to basically have a whole nervous breakdown about how she's not really this emotional person and all she's been doing is crying, and she's just crying and crying and she just can't stop crying, but she wants to get out there and see him, but she just can't stop crying. And I'm like, suck it up, buttercup. But if you are this nervous about doing this, maybe, just maybe, you might not need to be doing this, because it's one thing to be nervous to meet somebody, but she just seems to be nervous about even doing this whole situation and getting married. So again, red flags all over the place, but we gonna sit here and watch this train wreck, you know, slowly go down the track week after week with her and Eric. Virginia, she basically, when she gets down the aisle, she's doing this awkward smile and laugh like the entire wedding. She does it throughout the entire ceremony. After they get done and they're just hanging with each other for a little bit, she does it. When they get to the reception, she's doing it. And it's just like, I can't tell whether it truly is nerves and she just kind of gets the giggles, or she gets goofy when she gets really nervous, or it's because the drinking that she's been doing that she gets goofy and she gets giggly. But either way, I just was kind of cringing a little bit the entire time between the two of them. They do their vows to each other and they actually end up kissing, which I thought Eric, you know, he's so conservative. I thought he would just go in for, you know, a kiss on the cheek or something like that. But they end up kissing on the lips. And as we see them kind of taking pictures together and then with their families, again, she's just like, she's all over him, like wanting to kiss him all the time, leaning on him, hugging on him. While that is great, it just, I don't know if it was it just me. It was something about the two of them that just made it feel awkward. It was almost like he was saying he liked it, but it was almost like if he would rather like her pause a little bit, he would have said that. But I don't think he, of course, wanted to say that. So it just seemed to be this awkward energy or tension between the two of them, of her being probably a little bit tipsy and being all over him, and him being traditional and conservative. He's like, I don't really know what to do. The polite thing to do is not to, you know, tell her to stop, but also I'm a little bit uncomfortable in everything that's going on. Maybe it's just me, but that's the kind of vibe that I got from the whole situation with the two of them. But I just found it funny how they showed, and of course I know it's something to do with editing, but they showed her like as soon as they kind of got done with the pictures, or maybe it was right before, she goes to the bar to get a drink, and like her mother-in-law is like within walking like just a few feet away from her. And I'm like, girl, so instead of going to actually greet your new in-laws and getting to know them, you're like, nope, give me one more drink first. and then I'll deal with that. And Eric's mama, of course, was like, I see it. I'm counting how many drinks you have it. And we're going to keep a close eye on that, okay? Third couple up is my favorite, Brianna and Vincent. They are next up to get married. They both say they basically could not sleep the night before because they're so excited and nervous about meeting each other. Vincent looks quite dapper in his tuxedo, and he just goes on, and he seems to be very committed to be a good husband and a good father once they have kids. Like, he wants to be the complete opposite of how he grew up and what he's seen. He wants to be married one time. He wants to have kids with his wife, and he just wants to always have that family and be together. So I really hope it works out for them. When they go to show Brianna and she's getting her hair and stuff ready, and baby, when her final look comes together, I just wanted to see like glitter or stars falling because she looked amazing. I already loved her dress. Dress was amazing. Hair was amazing. Makeup was amazing. Skin tone, body, yada, 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 yada. She looked great. I absolutely loved everything about her look. It was so cute. Once Vincent actually comes out and walks down the aisle, he sees Brianna's family, and of course he greets her mom, and mom was so sweet and kind of reassuring him because he said that he was so nervous, and she's like, you'll be okay. But you can tell, if y'all didn't notice, like when he was walking down, and I guess it's probably like her friends or cousins, they kind of, y'all know that look of you like, okay, he kind of cute. I know what she looked like. Now I know what he looked like. We can make this work. Okay, this ain't too shabby after all. They were giving each other that sort of look. So I read between that, you know, those black girl lines. I know what y'all was thinking, what y'all was talking about. But her mom, again, her mom was so sweet and reassuring him. She says that her biggest fear is that she will not be physically attracted to him. And of course, I have to mention this because I kind of ragged on Chris, of course, last week about being so heavy on the looks, which I feel in this situation it is a bit different because Chris had all these check boxes and check mark that he wanted his wife to, you know, do and look like and be, and if not, that was going to make him so sad. I'm like, whatever. But I feel like in this situation, it is hard to be with somebody and try to fall in love with somebody that you're not physically attracted to, because I mean, that is the first thing you see. If you go back to season 1 with Doug and I can't remember the wife's name right now, but if you go back to them, she was completely mortified of her husband, and she, you know, was not attractive to him, but his personality, of course, made up for that, and they ended up staying married, and they're still married now. But it's basically that situation of you really have to get to know the person, because you can't just rely on, ooh, I like the way they look, so I can ignore everything else, and we can just keep looking at each other. No, it's not gonna work. But she did say that. So when they both get to the aisle, you can tell that Vincent really, like, he's almost taken aback by her. I think he thinks that she is so gorgeous. Like, you could see it all over his face that he's like, wow, my wife is beautiful. So I thought that was super cute. However, when the minister was really talking about how they do the little spiel about what their friends and family had to say about each other, I didn't like how they put it out there that Brianna was so bossy. Like, I get that she may be bossy per se, but that can have such a negative connotation. I was like, oh, why did they say it so many times? Like, bossy, bossy, bossy. So you'll have a great good looking boss. And I'm like, okay, y'all, I get where you was going. But again, this is a first impression for it just to be that she's so bossy. Didn't really like that. And also, of course, she may be different in her marriage. You know, usually sometimes how women are in other areas of their life or other relationships in their life, they're different with their actual husband. So I would just rather that had been left out, but you know, that's just me. Their vows were basically my favorite thus far. I felt like they were really heartfelt, but they were also very realistic for meeting someone that you did not know. At the end of the altar, Vincent kept licking his lips like, as soon as this shawty say, kiss your bride, it's on. It is on. So, of course, once she did pronounce them husband and wife, he went ahead and he kissed his bride. So they were just super cute. Y'all are definitely our Amani and Woody of this season. So don't F it up for the rest of us, okay? Brianna and Vincent, don't screw it up for us, okay? But they were just so cute. Brianna thought her husband was handsome. He thought she was gorgeous. They compliment each other so well. I feel like they just kept saying like, ooh, the experts did a good job of saying like, you cute, I'm cute, we cute together. But their pictures were so cute. I actually absolutely love this couple. So we see that all the couples have been married. Well, the 3 couples that we did see this episode were married, and we see their first dance. Clara and Ryan get to know each other a little bit more as they're dancing, asking about music and concerts and things like that. We get a view of Vincent and Brianna, and he can't seem to keep his hands off her ass, which, hey, it's your wife. Do what you want to do. And then we see Virginia and Eric, and again, they're just still so awkward to me. It's like they're just both being like goofy, and she just continues to kiss on him, and it's just uncomfortable for us to watch, or maybe just uncomfortable for me to watch. But I just thought it was just I could have done without it, but okay. So we see them sitting at their tables, and as Virginia and Eric talks, he's asking a little bit more about her family, and basically talking about how, you know, she likes to go out. She's like, I like to go out a lot. And he's like, not so much. So they're finding out very early on they are complete opposites. Virginia also just comes out and blurts out that her sister is gay and her 2 nephews were artificially inseminated. And I'm like, way to just put your sister business all the way out there on national TV, okay? But all right. And then Claire and Ryan, they're shown eating together, and then she's just talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. Her bridesmaids come over there and she's just talking, and Ryan is like, what did I get myself into? That is so funny. But I'm so mad here because we heard the DJ say that the best man was about to give his speech, which is Chad, aka Ryan's fine big brother. And we ended up not even seeing the toast. We ended up seeing his friend do a toast. I was like, what's up with that? But maybe the brother said something that was inappropriate. I don't know, but I was ready to at least get a few more minutes of Chad on the TV screen because he cute. But we hear from his friend, and then we hear from, I believe it was Clara's father, if I'm not mistaken. He gave some cute little funny stories about her. And then we see speeches at Brianna and Vincent's wedding. Brianna's friend for her, and then Vincent's cousin for him, which was really cute. Virginia, when they switch back to her and Eric, homegirl is still drinking. I mean, I know the camera is probably catching every sip, but she's just sipping and sipping and drinking and drinking. And I just wish she would stop. Just so that, if anything, so that she can just be coherent and not be as silly and goofy all over the place, and not make that be the impression of, for his family and friends, that all this girl do is drink. Yes, she can be herself and do what she wants to do, but you still want to make a good first impression. I was like, geez, girl, just cut it out before you embarrass yourself in front of these people. So the last couple we see with their wedding getting started is Paige and Chris. And she says she isn't nervous. And she goes, of course, into the believe this was destined. God, you know, gave me this man to be my husband, that I'm going to have these kids. And I'm like, all right, girl, all right. But I love the friend that's sitting on the couch that's like throwing out all the questions to her. It is so super funny, and I loved her being in that scene. And then we see mediocre looking Chris getting ready, and once again, he's still talking about he doesn't want anybody to be with him just for his money. I thought we were going to escape it this episode. I don't know why, but I just thought we were going to, and I just don't get it, because I'm like, you keep saying this, but yet right under your name is blessed with the S's and dollar signs. So I know the Married at First Sight people didn't just do that. I'm pretty sure you probably asked them to add that little razzle dazzle on it. So can we stop hearing about it? Please, I would appreciate it. But once Paige gets herself together, man, she is gorgeous too. Her hair, her makeup, her dress, again, body yaddy yaddy, looks absolutely amazing. Black girl magic is definitely slaying all over the TV screen. So Chris gets some words of wisdom from his grandfather, which was actually really great advice. He says, don't be too big of yourself, not to say sorry. And even if you're right, still say sorry, because the makeup is where it's at, okay? Take that advice. All you men, take that advice from Chris's granddaddy, okay? So we see that Chris actually ends up giving Paige a gift, and we see that it's an infinity symbol necklace. And she's like, oh, it's so cute, because she has actually an infinity symbol tattoo somewhere on her that they show. So she's like, oh, does he know this? Does he know me? And of course, this is now even more so God sent. This man is God sent. I'm like, maybe God sent, maybe the experts. I don't know. So we see Chris pray before he's scheduled to walk out, and then Paige actually prays with her mother and her father before she's scheduled to walk down the aisle. And then as Chris's father is being seated, we see he make the comment of, you know, I can't wait to see my daughter-in-law. And then it's a comment of, well, I don't know if she's ugly. And then he kind of snickers. And I'm like, what is it with this family in thinking that they are, you know, just the creme de la creme, and just throwing this word ugly around as if, you know, they're the Beyonce Morris Chestnut, you know, just out here fine as ever. And, you know, you just calling people ugly or making light and joke about it. I just was like, you too? Okay. But anyway, Chris says, of course, if he isn't immediately attracted to her when she walks down the aisle, he honestly doesn't know what he would do. And I honestly think if he is not attracted to her, which I don't think he's not going to be, that he would probably walk out, because he's just so full of himself that I don't think he would go through with actually doing this and actually having faith in the experts that this woman deep down inside is good for him and is what he needs. He's just so much on what the looks look like, even though his grandma has already given him this speech last week about looks fade. You need to know, you know, what's inside of the person. But he's just so big on, I don't know what I'm gonna do if she ugly. And I'm like, I roll. So we see at the very tail end, he's already at the altar. Paige is walking down, and he kind of mimics or mumbles, oh shit, under his breath. So I'm feeling fairly certain that's a good oh shit, that she looks good, and it's not a bad one, because that's what Married at First Sight loves to do, leave you on a cliffhanger, and then you watch it and it absolutely does not mean what you thought it was going to mean when the episode went off the last week. So I think they're going to be fine. I think he's going to absolutely love how she looks. If he doesn't, screw him, because she is a beautiful woman, and even in that dress, she looks absolutely amazing. So if he don't think so, Paige, move on to the next one. So next week, we'll see the last two couples get married, and then hopefully we'll at least see them getting ready to, well, probably not on the honeymoon, because they usually like to have this whole brunch lunch situation with the family the next morning. So hopefully we'll see all of that with the couples, and we don't drag out this wedding story for the next 2-3 episodes, and we get it knocked out in the next episode and move on to the honeymoon. So what did y'all think about the episode this week? You have any new favorite couples? Did y'all think these weddings were just amazing? You have different thoughts than me? Let's chat about it in the comments below. Until next time, y'all, we'll be back next week, same time, same place for Married at First Sight. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.